think a lot of us know what needs to be done. We don't want to execute, or we don't execute because we're scared.
Yeah.
And we have
Absolutely.
to take some risk and get out of our comfort zone. And so I had to do some of those things, and I'm still doing those things.
Hey guys, Damien Stevens, host of MSP Mindset, and I am live at the end of Pax8 Beyond 2025. And I have the pleasure of being here with Greg Zimmerle, who is the CEO of My IT. Greg,
Hi,
thanks for
Damien.
being here.
Hi, Damien. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, a special thanks, as you can hear from the background as they're tearing down, to at the end of an event. It's a even bigger gift to show up and have the energy to have this kind of conversation. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks. Thanks again.
Yeah. So I wanted to dig into this. You are a new EOS implementer, is that right?
We are.
I've talked to so many people that are down the road, and that's great. But what is new to you? Like, how long have you been in it, and are you using an outside implementer?
Yeah, so we've gone down the road for about the past 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
And we are doing a self-implementation, or attempting to.
Self-implementation. I like that. That's bold.
Yeah.
All the coaches say you can't do it.
They say not to
but
do it.
they have a very good interest in saying that.
Right.
4 to 6 months in. So why EOS?
So we needed a structure for our team, and having that structure of the meetings, and making sure that we were following a process, just much easier for us to follow our process.
What made you, EOS or not, what hurt? What made you say, I need something, I need more process? Was there a particular boiling point that happened where you're like, we've got to do something different?
Sure. We swirled around in chaos for a while.
Yeah.
And then we realized, hey, we need to build a team, and we need to get that team rowing, the proverbial rowing in the same direction.
Yeah.
And so far, when we do use the EOS system, it is helping us to get there and get everyone on the same page.
Okay. Now, did somebody on your team come with it, a management team, or did you bring it to the team?
They're going through conferences and talking to other folks. I was given a book of traction and provided that. And so I started hearing more and more about EOS and traction and following that. I've even seen it in some of our clients on their bookshelves, and we talk about it, or we would talk about it. And then we started to look into it more and said, this is something that can help us.
Yeah. So was it so widely recommended that you just said it's EOS, or did you shop around and say, should we consider something else?
No, so I read through the book, and so as I read through it, it made a lot of sense, and it just said, this is really kind of what I've been looking for, and then so I started to do some of the things on my own. And then I started to implement some with a team member at a time, and so now we have weekly meetings of our EOS.
Okay. So about 4 or 6 months ago, when you started to decide to implement this, about how many people were on your team?
We had 14 people on the team at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and again we were at a point where we realized, hey, we really need to build have the structure and build the team. I couldn't do everything myself anymore, and I thought I was capable. Yeah, I can do it, but at the end of the day, I didn't have enough time to do everything, live a normal life, and whenever I had people that were capable. So we started looking, and not always everybody comes along for the journey, and you realize that. And but it's been good. It's been good. We're starting to achieve goals, or we have been achieving goals and growing.
Hey guys, Damien here. As I continue to interview the top MSPs in the world, one thing has become incredibly clear. It's time that we let go. Even more than that, every time I focus on my zone of genius and get out of the way and do the very few things I'm good at and delegate to others, I'm ready for that next level of growth. So if you're ready for that next level of growth, one way that I could help you is with Servosity. We co-manage your backups and disaster recovery so you can focus on what you do best, let us do the rest. And then what we do is we test the backups every single day so you never have to worry. If you'd like to learn more, click the link below.
What was your team's reaction? Like, were they like, thank you, there's a process or structure, like we're all on board? Were they kind of hesitant? I'm curious. I say team, obviously it's made up of individuals, so it could be all of those.
Sure. Again, some people come along with you, some people don't.
Yeah.
Right. And what I found, though, is that the right ones come along with you, and they're open to the ideas. It takes some education on your part as well as their part. And, there's a bit of guided discovery, asking questions and giving them, making sure that they know that they've been given permission to tell you what's working, what's not working. And but as long as you have honest feedback and you have that open door policy and people aren't just doing it because you told them to do it, we've actually gotten feedback from some of the team members that they preferred it over what we were doing before.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about another point. I know you're pretty far past it, but I think you were telling us before that you kind of hit that 2 million plateau, for lack of a better way of saying that. I know you're past it now, but what did that feel like when you kind of hit that? Well, I don't even want to call it plateau, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah. So we swirled around in the 1.4 to 1.8 range for several years, and we would grow a little bit, and then we would contract, and it wasn't really until we started to put different people in different places of the business, creating those positions and having them accountable and for growing that role, and when we started to do that, all of a sudden we went from two, about 1.8. We went immediately to 2.4.
Wow.
And it was a really big change. Also, I took a lot off of me whenever that started to happen, because we really started taking everything that was in my head, and I was the cog in the wheel. Used to, earlier in the days, I was the one that was spinning that wheel.
Yeah. But
then I became a cog in the wheel. And once I realized that, and I started to get out of the way, sometimes even today they're like, "Oh, here he comes,"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, I got it. Let me do it. Let me handle it." And it turns out that people really want to have they want to have that satisfaction of solving a problem and have a meaningful position, a job that they're working at. So. But making that leap from going from 1.8 to 2.4 was a relief, and we had to make a lot of changes. Mainly my mindset. There was time for me to be the coach and not a player.
Yeah. So some people never get past that. Some people just stay there forever. What was it that made you realize I need to change?
I wanted to grow.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I had somewhat of a lifestyle business that was going on, and
I just laugh at that because when mine was lifestyle like that, it wasn't a good lifestyle. It was just a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a good lifestyle, but just seeing what's going on in our industry, and then learning that, hey, what is the goal? I had one consultant that I talked to. He said, "Greg, you're 50. Why not just write it on in? You've been at this for 25 years. Just write it on in, and finish up at where you're at. I mean, it's not bad." And he's right. It's absolutely not bad. But my answer to him was, I think I've got more in me. I have the drive. I wanted to do it. I had considered, before I called that consultant, do I want to do this, or do I want to just, do I want to ride it and sell, or do I want to grow it and see what I'm capable of doing? And it's more of a personal thing for me to be a higher achiever, and so that's what made me decide to do it. And so we started making changes, and listening to what's going on in the industry and actually executing on those things. Because I think a lot of us know what needs to be done, and we either we don't want to execute or we don't execute because we're scared.
Yeah.
And we have
Absolutely.
to take some risk and get out of our comfort zone. And so I had to do some of those things, and I'm still doing those things.
Yes. So where did you start with that? You realized I'm not going to grow. I think you said, like, I want to hear your words, so I'm not putting it in your mouth, but some version, because I usually wake up and see the thing holding my business back in the mirror every morning. And so it sounds like you kind of had that epiphany, like I'm the person holding the business back.
Yeah.
And then you had to change your mindset.
I did. For me, I had a hand in the service department every day, and I was, there were times whenever I hired a service manager, and I was going in and telling him how to run the service department, and that was, I hired someone to do the job. I needed to give him some guidelines for what we were responsible for, what he's responsible for, and set our goals. And I kept, I did at first, I circumvented him, but then I realized, hey, I really should not be doing that. I need to go out of my founder mode and into more of a business development, business owner mode, and hire people, train them, work with them, trust them to make decisions, and that took a little while for me to do that.
Yeah. What helped you understand? Let's put it this way: what helped you get the heck out of the way? Right, because it's so easy to get drawn back in to kind of micromanaging or jumping in and doing the tickets or being the super tech.
Yeah. So, don't get me wrong. I still have those moments, but it's hard. It's hard to watch a customer who you've developed in some cases 20, 25-year relationship with. It's hard to watch them crash and burn. And there's nothing you can do about it because you have to do it for the good, the greater good of the team and for themselves. A lot of those clients and employees had personal relationships with, and they knew they could call me and I would come in and do whatever it was needed to do. I remember one client in particular that we had a very spirited conversation. He didn't like the way things were going, and still, lifelong friendship that developed out of 25 years. We decided it was part ways, and that was probably about 4 years ago. And then, earlier this year, he referred us to one of his clients, which I found interesting. But it's those relationships are strong. Sometimes the business, it has to be done because of the business.
Yeah. So, when was this that you kind of had this mindset change or breakthrough? You were, I don't know, somewhere. What you're telling me, you were like 1.8 million. About how many years ago?
It was after COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, it was straight up after COVID that I just said, you know what, it's time. I'm 50. I need to do something, or just keep doing what I'm doing, or I need to do something. So which one is it?
So 21.
20. Yeah, I would say 2021ish.
21.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think through this. 21 years in business to get to 1.8.
Yes.
And in the last 4 years, you got from 1.8 to
3. We're on scale for 3.2 at the moment. Somewhere between 3.2 and 3.6 is where we'll be.
So depending on that, how that lands, nearly doubling that revenue.
Yes.
And not only doubling, but like you've done in 4 years, you'll have added the revenue that took you 21 years.
Right.
To get.
Yes.
If you have, for anybody listening, or for yourself before this a few years ago, and I know there's so many people I know that I talk to that are struggling against that kind of near 2 million barrier, what's the piece of advice you would give them?
Sales.
Sales.
Okay. Yeah. So I think so many of us have We have unrecognized revenue in our existing client base. Those are the easy ones. You already know the client. You can go after them. That's your account management type stuff. You definitely better be working them, because if there's not a strategy there and you're not working those clients, they will find someone else once they get at or above your operational maturity. They will feel they've outgrown you. So you've got to step up, and you've got to provide those services. The other thing is outside services. You have to add new revenue as well, and so you have to figure some of that out. We have a marketing person, we have a salesperson, and those two combined, plus my focus of being more on sales, asking for referrals. People I've known for years, just talking to them and saying, hey, if you know somebody that could use our services or could use our help.
Was that something you were doing before? Like at
Not
this level?
really.
So what lit a fire under you, for lack of a better way? Like there's this change in mindset, and now you're all over the sales. Like why?
Yeah.
Why did you decide? Like it'd be easy to say I don't want to do that, or that's not who I am. How many of us tech folks say, oh, I don't really do that, or I don't really sell? So
the biggest thing was making the decision to get out of the daily operations of the tech world, and then getting more client focused, more sales focused, and then getting re-engaged back into that, and actually doing and executing what I already had an idea of what to do. I mean, we grew to 1.8 without me, without a salesperson.
Yeah.
And so I already had an idea of how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
But when you get so bogged down into the daily operations, the last thing I was thinking about was I need to go do more sales. And it was a mind shift.
Yeah. What's the biggest takeaway since you made that mindset shift? Like, what's the lesson you've learned that maybe you wish you'd have done sooner or differently?
Yeah, so somewhere along the way, I would say I probably got a little comfortable, and with that comfort, you stop figuring things out. You stop digging down into those, and being a really good tech requires you to dig in and spend time and figure it out. And I stopped doing that for a while, candidly. And sales is not easy.
Yeah,
it is hard. It requires time, energy, but it's something that I do enjoy to do now. I always did enjoy it, but I was so integrated inside the business instead of on the business, so to speak. And taking a step back and just saying, okay, what do you have to do? And then getting the right people in place to take those things off my plate and allowing me to help generate the sales and go close the deals.
Interesting. So I guess last question on that topic is, what's the future look like for you now that you've changed your mindset? Like, where are you going with this, and what do you think you're going to take this?
Sure. So we're actively working on developing, continuing to develop, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, with our marketing and with our sales. We have goals of trying to keep going at 20% compound annual growth rate. I know that's going to get harder and harder. We're looking at all of the different avenues, whether that's going to be coming from our sales activities or from through some level of acquisition, if that is in our path. So we've got some goals, and we've got a lot of learning to do as we go along to do this. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, this was really enlightening, Greg. For everybody that's listening and watching,
yes.
If you're open to it, how can they find you on social media or your website, or what's the best way for other MSP owners, if you're open to it, to reach out or connect with you?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn as Greg Zimmerle, Zimmerle. You can find our website at www.myit.com. Email address is greg@myit.com.
that is a gift. Make sure to take advantage of Greg's offer there. Reach out to him.
Yeah.
And Greg, thank you so much for making time, especially at the end of an event.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to move on. And
that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for being on MSP Mindset. Thank you for making the time.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Damien.
it. Yeah.